Just a bit. We begin tonight, though, with Republican Congresswoman Kat Cammack from Florida, who voted against the impeachment today. Congresswoman, good to have you here this evening. You heard that introduction. Obviously, there is blame for the division in this country and the animus that we see all around. And I think that a lot of people feel that the president deserves his fair share of blame for stoking those fires over the course of what we saw on January 6th. Where do you stand tonight when you look back at what happened today?
Well, thank you for having me on, Martha.
Thank you.
And absolutely, I mean, you're right. Hearing that introduction, my blood pressure was starting to climb because, quite frankly, it's that kind of hypocrisy that has led me to be involved and find myself here in the United States Capitol as a member because of that blatant hypocrisy of leaders here in Washington, D.C. But I have to remind myself that as I'm listening to that, just an hour ago, I was standing in Statuary Hall with 50 National Guardsmen and women, giving them a private tour of the Capitol as they're stuck here, really defending our nation's Capitol. And I have to take a step back and remind myself that at this moment in time, only calmer heads will prevail. If we are to survive as a constitutional republic, we have to stop this blame game. We have to stop pointing fingers. We have to stop the hypocrisy. And we really have to focus on the things that the American people and our constituents back home in the district sent us to Washington to do. We have got to get our economy back on track, recover from COVID. Hundreds of thousands of businesses have gone under. We have real work to do, and there is nothing about today that was productive. There was nothing in the way of healing. There was nothing unifying about it. It's upsetting, of course, but we have to be bigger and we have to be better than what has happened here in the last 10 days. My first 10 days in Congress, to be exact.
Yeah, well, welcome to Washington.
Appreciate it.
You know, a lot of people were unhappy, some Republicans, with Liz Cheney. Other people supported her very strongly and felt that the president was really at fault. Even Kevin McCarthy said the president shares blame, is to blame for what happened on January 6th. Do you agree with him?
You know, I think that, and I've been getting that question all day long, really what we need to be doing is putting the blame squarely on the people that stormed the Capitol. I was on the House floor. I was 20 feet away from where they were starting to breach the doors. As the wife of a first responder and a SWAT medic who happened to be on the Capitol complex and feeling helpless as his wife was on the House floor with God knows what happening around her. I mean, this is just crazy that we're still here 10 days into the 117th Congress pointing fingers at each other. Look, our party, we're hurting right now. We're hurting as Americans. But we have a party, the Republican Party, that is big enough to celebrate and respect a diversity of opinions. We're not always going to get it right, but we have to take accountability for what has happened here last Wednesday, and we're going to do just that, starting with the investigation, holding those criminals accountable. What happened was in complete defiance to the platform that we all stand on: law and order, respect for the rule of law, our Constitution. We need to get back to that. And once we do that, we're actually going to be able to heal and get to work on the things that everyone has been craving us to do.
What did you think of the president's address tonight? Some have said it's too little, too late.
Well, you know, I thought the president was very clear. I only caught a little bit of it in the introduction and some news clips, but I thought the president was crystal clear. He supports rule of law. He condemns the violence that occurred here on Wednesday. He does not support anyone that is wishing to do harm. The First Amendment guarantees our peaceful assembly. We need to protect that. To my dying breath, I will protect anyone's right to free speech and peaceful assembly, whether they support or are against what I am standing for. That is a constitutional cornerstone that we all, regardless of Republican or Democrat, have to fight for. And so I think the president was very clear. I'm very glad that he came out with that message.
I mean, do you think that if he had made that address on January 6th, or if he had said those words at that rally, look, all of you out there, I know you're all amped up. I know that you want to overturn this election, but you cannot do anything violent in my name. Don't you think that this might have turned out very differently? There are 5 people who lost their lives on January 6th.
Yeah, and today I actually walked right past where that young woman was shot and killed. And it is going to be a jarring memory that I'm going to have to deal with every single day as I go to cast my ballot on behalf of the 3rd District of Florida. But listen, it's easy for all of us to Monday morning quarterback this situation. I wish that the president would have said something earlier, but the people that were storming the Capitol, they came prepared, they had a plan, they were intent on causing chaos and destruction no matter what. And that's the thing that we need to do, is hold these people accountable. I will not stand here and be a hypocrite and say I condemned what happens at the Capitol but not what happened last summer. Of course not. Violence has no place in our society, in our rule of law, in our politics, in our daily discourse. We have to condemn violence, and that goes for the Democrats on the other side. They need to be paying attention to the cities that have been burned to the ground, looted, and just had chaos for months. Where were they? We have got to start holding each other accountable and really fighting back on this hypocrisy that has been running rampant for years here in Washington, D.C.
Kat, thank you very much. Kat Cammack, Congresswoman, thank you for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Martha.